Hello and welcome. My name is Benjamin. In today's video, I'll be talking about self-talk. Self-talk is something everybody does. Is when you are doing whatever you're doing. You could be cooking, you could be washing, you could even be taking your shower, and you'll be talking to yourself. Sometimes these self-talk are audible. Sometimes they are not audible. Sometimes you're just talking in your head. In fact, if you step outside your house right now, your office, if you look outside, you look at people walking on the street. Half of them are participating are talking to themselves. Half of them are engaged in self-talk. They're just talking and walking on the street. Some of them are animated by the talk. They are talking so intensely to themselves. They are actually acting it out in the public. So self-talk is what everyone does, whether people admit it or not. So, but the thing that is people don't know about self-talk is a form of prayer. So if you spend your time, let's say you have a boss that you do not like, and you spend your time talking about in your head, in your self-talk, you're talking to yourself about you're talking to yourself, and in your self-talk, your boss is there. In your imagination, you're talking and you're arguing with him, and there is conflict, there is disagreement. So after you are quarreling in this your self-talk, this self-talk you're having with yourself, when you eventually meet your boss, he will exhibit those attributes, those aggression you have attributed to him or her during your self-talk, because self-talk is prayer. Everything you say in your self-talk finds a way to manifest in your reality. So that means you have to be careful about what you allow in your self-talk. There's no self-talk in itself is not wrong. It's part of being a human being. Sometimes we have to talk it through with ourselves, just to analyze the whole whatever has taken place, and during that you can see what you did wrong and what the other person did wrong. So in fact, a lot of the time it's during self-talk and talking to ourselves and going through what has happened, then we realize that maybe something didn't add up, and from there we find out, yeah, this person or that person wasn't honest about what they were really talking about. So self-talk in itself is not something negative. It's part of being a human being. But at the same time, we must know that there's idle talk we have with ourselves or other people. They will all give account of them in one way or the other. So how do we use this self-talk? You can use self-talk in a very positive way. You can use self-talk to turn your life around, because self-talk, whether you like it or not, is a form of prayer. It's a prayer we are praying with our eyes wide open, because there is some faith or fear attached to self-talk. At some level, there is some faith or fear attached to it. So if you are angry with someone and you are talking in your self-talk, you're talking to yourself and you're angry with them, you are screaming and shouting, you're telling them to go away or hit a rock or whatever, there's a little bit of fear attached to it, and fear of faith is what we use for prayer. So, and if you're talking with someone and in your self-talk you're being optimistic, you're talking about the project and how that project will work out and everything, there's a level of faith attached to it. That means it is a prayer. So how do you then make sure we use self-talk in a positive way? Well, I'll read from the Bible. Like I said, the Bible and the personal development goes hand in hand. You cannot do personal development without one time or the other going into the Bible. So I'll read from the book of Philippians chapter 4 verse 8, and it says, "Finally, brethren, whatsoever things are true, whatsoever things are honest, whatsoever things are just, whatsoever things are pure, whatsoever things are lovely, whatsoever things of good report, if there be any virtue, if there be any praise, think on these things." So in that Philippians chapter 4 verse 8, in fact, we have a good comprehensive list of things you can think on, things you can engage in your self-talk. So in your self-talk, you have to ask yourself, is this thing I'm talking about, is it true? Is it true? Does it have any relevance to reality? Because sometimes most of our self-talk are just something we just cooked up in our head. There's no truth in it whatsoever. The next thing you have to ask yourself, is this honest? Is this honest? It's truth and honest goes hand in hand. But is this thing I'm thinking about, is it true? Is there true some honesty in it? Am I being honest right now? If it's not true, if it's not honest, you have to drop it straight away. Is what you are dwelling on, is it just? Is it a just thing? Is it like something you can be proud to share with somebody else? If you are engaging in some racist thought in your head, you know that's not just. You can't. Most of the time, you can't share it with your people because you know what you're doing. It's just in your head. It's in your head, but you cannot share it to anybody. It's not a just cause. The other thing you have to ask yourself is, what I'm dwelling on, is it pure? If this thought, if people can see it, will I be proud of it? Is it a pure thought? If it's not a pure thought, drop it. Is this thought self-talk I'm engaging in? Is this thought I'm playing around with? Is it lovely? If it's not lovely, if nobody can describe that thought as lovely, drop it. Is it a good report? Is it something you can talk about to other people and say, oh, since this have this good, lovely characteristics attached to this, there's a lot of good traits about characteristics about this thought I'm dwelling on. If it's not, drop it. Now the Bible says, if there be any virtue on it, if there be any praise, think on these things. If there is virtue on what you are thinking about, if there is praise on it, somebody can see it and say, wow, that is something good, man, keep it up. If it's any of those things, then keep on dwelling on those thoughts. Because if your thoughts are pure, if it's true, if it's honest, if it's just, if it's pure, if it's lovely, and if it's of good report, if there be any virtue in it, then you are one of the few in a billion people that entertain good thoughts every day. Most people, their thoughts are negative. 90% of people's thoughts are negative. They are always quarreling, fighting, afraid of one disease or the other. They are always in conflict with other people when they are doing their self-talk, and they wake up and when those things they have been dwelling on confront them in this 3D reality, they pretend like they didn't know where it comes from. They know exactly where it comes from. It comes from their idle talk, their idle self-talk, talking to themselves, dwelling on negative thought, entertaining negative thought, following that negative thought down the rabbit hole. And then when that thought comes back and manifests in their life, they say to themselves, I didn't know what I did to deserve this. What they did was to entertain negative thought unnecessarily. When negative thought comes your path, recognize it's there, then reject it. Say, I reject this thought and every power that comes with it, and then move on. Sometimes it seems like that statement is not is weak or not non-effective, but believe me, it works all the time. I've been using it for a long time. You do not have to take negative thoughts, whatever negative thought it may be. It might be negative thought against your partner, about your partner, or about your kids, about your mother, about your father, about your work colleague, about your boss. You do not have to entertain those thoughts, because it says there is whatsoever things are pure. Negative thoughts are not pure. They are not pure. They are evil. They are negative. So it's not a thought you are even proud of. So why are you entertaining it? Why are you engaging in it? Why are you running the simulation in your mind? So this is what I want to talk about today: self-talk, and how that self-talk, you have to understand it is prayer. And if you the thought negative, if the thought you are dwelling on, if it's not, as the Bible says, that if it's not true, if it's not honest, if it's not just, if it's not pure, if it's not lovely, and if it's not of good report, drop it. Don't follow that negative thought down the rabbit hole. It has nothing good for you. That negative thought has nothing good for you, because the longer you entertain it, the more you give it form, the more you give it energy it requires to manifest in your life. And 90% of the time, if not more, most people's thoughts are negative, and that negative thought goes forth and confront them in their future, and they say to themselves, I didn't know what I did for this to happen. What you did was to entertain negative thought and dwell on it long enough for you to manifest in your life. So your self-talk, make sure that is pure, is honest, is just, is true, and is lovely and of good report, and there's virtue in it. make sure that is what you're engaging when you're doing your self-talk, and that way whatever you are dwelling on is something you'll be proud of, something good, something that when it manifests in your life, you'll be happy about it. I hope this video has been helpful to you in one way or the other, and if you like this kind of video, please subscribe and press the notification bell, and so that when I upload more of this type of video, you will be notified about it, so you can watch and learn one or two things from it. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next video. Bye for now.